Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards, and it's discussion time. I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Cockings, and San Diego Comic-Con happened 2018, 2017. There was so much Discovery things to talk about. This year, no different. We've got the full trailer. Wasn't short, wasn't not jam-packed, and you've asked for it. Here's our full breakdown. My summary.
Right.
Thought about
Let's
to do
just
anyway.
Let's just jump right into it. So, it starts out with a voiceover by Michael Burnham. We've always looked to the stars to discover who we are, and it shows some phenomenon. Yeah, we get to see the ship in warp, and I was so excited. You know, we get to see some ship shots.
This whole first 10 seconds, I was like, a sense of science, of exploration. Like, tonally, it started from the right place, because, boy, they needed that. The war thing did not quite work, so this tone, good decision, and the warp, a lot better. Thank goodness for that. And just ship shots, guys, come on, embrace it. There are some good shots in this trailer, so yay for them. And then we get a visual of her on a planet, destruction. There's several moments in the trailer where this is the same scene, but quite a big, high-budget feeling sequence. New spacesuit, and she sees this form, this blurry form, out in the distance.
It's got these tendrils coming out of it, which is odd. You know what I mean? But I have a feeling this is like a flashback thing or something to the destruction of her colony when she was a kid.
Ooh.
And is this her mother? I mean, it's got a female form, and maybe those tendrils disappear as it steps into focus. Some kind of alien trying to communicate with her. That's kind of the vibe I got with the destruction all around her.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, the
wrong.
voiceover is, then there's a hidden, there's a message that's hidden, a secret made of space and time, visible only to those who are open enough to receive it. And that's the implication of this. So I remember they did say that this season has a religious subtext. That's one of the spiritual undertone plots. So straight away, my visual for this is angel. You know, what is an angel in different species? Well, it's another race that's showing them things. So this, like that'd be kind of incredible if it was her mother, but that's the form of the alien, the creature, the whatever, the signal. They mention a signal in a minute. Takes the form of. And we, you know, those things were taken for wings, was my interpretation from that. Although some people said Iconian because that's what they look like in Stowe, but they wouldn't use Stowe as canon because that's sort of not how these things are done these days.
Could be, though.
But that's what I was thinking of Angel, but I like that. And Flashback's interesting, although it's clearly
or just a communication with her or something, yeah. And then, of course, we get the shot of how we ended Season 1, the Enterprise and the Discovery face-to-face, and Pike's like, or the communications guy's like, Pike's requesting to beam over. So I'm getting the feeling we're not going to really see the Enterprise bridge. He's not going to be on screen with this bridge behind him, which would be kind of neat. I just have a feeling we're going to see external shots of the Enterprise and the hallway and Spock's quarters, because we see those later in the trailer.
Yeah, that's the safest bet to do. They cannot win. Whatever they do, they can't win. Unless they recreate it faithfully and updated naturally, but that's not their style. So this is a good way of having the TOS-ish, by having these people in uniform beyond the Discovery, which is what he says, you know, I'm here to take over Discovery, which is quite an odd choice. We know that something happened to the Enterprise, but they don't look particularly damaged or incapable, although we see work bees later on, so I guess it's just not, you know, because remember, the Constitution classes are the most capable of the fleet. They're not the biggest or the strongest, but the most capable overall. Discovery is more advanced, but not, she's just, you know, specialist science cruiser, not heavy cruiser. So it's interesting that they would then pick, I guess it's because of the spore drive, they can't use the spore drive, and they don't mention the spore drive. So it's interesting they would take command of the Discovery when it's not necessarily the most, you know, one like the Constellation or the Farragut.
It could be that it was the only ship in the squadron,
and
they need a ship
Earth.
with.
Yeah.
They need a ship with, you know, working warp drive or something. Because I don't think the Enterprise the warp drive is functioning. Perhaps
I would be fine to say they have more advanced warp drive systems. Like, I'd probably go that far.
Or
bigger nacelles, newer ship.
Or we know that the Discovery is a dedicated science ship with 300 plus labs. Maybe it's got more scientific equipment that they need to investigate these strange anomalies that are cropping up.
Yeah.
So better to take a dedicated science ship than like a all-purpose ship. So
yep, I buy that. And I will say, you know, and we'll talk about all these things in other videos, but his performance as Pike, you know, Pike is not an overly defined character. I would sort of summarize him as, you know, fine Captain White male with some things in his past. It's a bit gruff. but still relatable. Like, he's just a sort of a white male character, and this guy actually seemed quite friendly, and that was obviously his tone, which was unusual considering the other captains and the other characters who actually tend to be kind of butting heads. So it's nice to have like a guy like, hey, I'm a professional, because these guys most of the time aren't.
And on the panel they talked about this a little bit. We're going to get into in depth in this in a separate video, but Pike. This is 3 years after the Cage. And we saw in the Cage, Pike, was kind of weary of command and all this. He seems to be re-energized and revitalized, and they kind of spoke about that a little bit in the panel. So yeah, he's much more back in the groove of being in command, I think. Yeah. So
he's almost going to, just go on to his next assignment and let Kirk be in charge. So he's so go-getter. He's going to be admiral soon. Then we see a cool space shot, and I will say they're getting brighter, better detail. It's good to see those sorts of shots. They're very much needed. Yeah,
the starship porn is beautiful. This is where they need to spend their budget. We said that first season.
Well, I wouldn't say it's beautiful. It's just better. Because they had some really cinematic stuff last time, but it was too dark and too hard to see. Yeah. This is a slightly better balance, but it's not beautiful. It's all greys and well, this shot in particular, anyway.
All right, so the next shot, they're walking through the corridor. We hear the regulation that gives him the ability to take command of the ship. And Saru says that's only if there's an imminent threat. And then we get the whole discussion on, 7 mysterious signals. Is
Red
it a
blitz.
message, an invitation, a threat? Let's find out.
And again, I was thinking, good, science.
Yes.
Exploration. Something weird and wibbly and wonderful. Although, instantly I was thinking, oh, is this the Stargate Universe storyline? Of, going after a signal from the universe? Is it God? Is it the thing that created the universe? It's this, so I'm like, oh, okay, well, Stargate Universe, hey, that's fine. They'll do their own take on it. It was like, oh, okay, parallels.
It's also kind of a Doctor Who thing, the anomaly, the crack in time, or this crack in space.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Doctor Who's done everything, so they've done everything. But this corridor shot's interesting because they talked about in previous panels that they are building more of the Discovery set to allow a longer walk and other dimensions. So there you can see someone with a ladder. So there's some. I like the shot diversity in this trailer. I've not included a few of the shots in this video, but there is a few kind of like, okay, that's a good way of showing quite a boring grey, colourless set. One thing about TOS is that it's bright, it's interesting, not as much physical detail, but it's the 60s. But an Into a Mirror Darkly, boy, visually it was like, ooh, this pops, So I'm glad that they're making up for the boring set design with interesting angles. So I appreciate that, and it makes me feel like a bigger ship. It's a absolutely massive ship, so use that. Pull away from the TOS aesthetic even further, because you're not it. You're not trying to be it. So use it. Go further. Let us know this is clearly not. By making these ridiculously big set piece locations, like, well, that wouldn't even fit inside. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a cool shot.
Yeah. The next shot, they were talking about getting sensor scans, and you see these balls drop down and kind of do a spin thing. So it looks like a sensor system or a lower planetary sensor dome that we've seen many times, but like a new take on it. Is this the Discoveries? Is this the Enterprises? I don't know. I think it's the Discovery based on the hull color, but it's such a quick shot, it's hard to really say. It could also be neither one of those ships. So
yeah, they're very careful with their CG use here because they're only using shots in the first two episodes, and you can tell. They're all in the same asteroid field. They're all, which is fine because they've only filmed up to episode 6. I thought they filmed further, but apparently they are still in episode 6. They took a little hiatus to retool.
Yeah, you know what these look like? Actually, now that I look at them, they look like work bees or those fighter things.
Are they?
I don't know.
That's interesting. Because we see how the things are launched later on, and they're from the back.
Yes.
But maybe. Anyway, so yeah, the red things. And we see the shot on the bridge, and we see the Enterprise looking lovely. And now there is a bridge window, which is interesting because now we've since seen official models, and some do have a bridge window, some don't have a bridge window. So I guess it does have a bridge window, except in the versions that it doesn't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this shot I really liked. I really did like seeing the Enterprise outside the window, and the overlay was really cool. It's fantastic. Visually, it's awesome.
Yay. And then one part of this trailer is that we get a focus on the two helm and tactical people. I mean, one thing they were saying in season 1 at the end was we want to make an ensemble cast, but they kind of failed miserably. You knew the entire crew, their face, maybe their voice.
Yeah.
and they said all their names, but it really was about the main like 4. And again, a mistake they're going to rectify, because it's a simple thing to do. You just write them as characters. But one thing that Alex Kurtzman said is that, you know, the crew is now together. Now we can explore that. So again, the balance wasn't quite right in season 1, and they gave these 2 distinct moments. I mean, they were the same moment, just different parts of the moment. But I think we're going to get a lot more. This is actually the crew, you know, which I'm fine with. These you'll have to have, you know, a unique feature, even if it's just ethnicity, because that's what we have so far, and then Bionic, and then someone else is a, you know, that's fine. But you know, a bit more of a crew atmosphere would be good, because that's what Star Trek is, a family, and this was not a family. You know, the amount that Saru was hated by Burnham after knowing them for 7 years. Crew. Good job.
Well, and
there.
And to be fair, they tried to make up for that a little bit in season 1 with the Mirror Universe episode, where they had the whole crew in the spore drive room, and they're like talking about, you know, getting back and all that.
Well, that's
they kind of tried to do it. Yeah.
A little bit too late. But season 2, they've learned mistakes. Now we get the costume. Big broad shot.
So the uniform, in my first reaction trailer, I said it should be like the standard sweater with the top, and then I kind of take that back because that was 3 years prior. So this could be the new style uniform. I'm not a fan of the offset collar. I mean, we're going to be talking about the uniform in a separate video, like in detail. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with the design. It looks sharp. It looks crisp. It's got the right color. Not a fan of the collar. The asymmetrical collar kind of bugs me. But they look good. I do appreciate the color and the attention to detail. The Delta, not being a patch, but actually like a metallic badge, looks fantastic. So I do like the uniforms. But anyway, separate video about those in particular. So
yeah, it's a weird one, because we shouldn't give them credit for the thing they should be doing. As we said before, you know, when you do wrong things and then you do the right thing, is that a clappable thing? And you say, of course you should be doing this. The uniforms look like this. That's what you need to make. So the fact that they made something different is actually a mistake, even though it's a rebooted version. And so that, you know, but for what they've done, for the bone they've given the audience, it literally is the Discovery jacket, but recolored orange, or yellow, sorry. So it's kind of like a little bit half-assed in a sense, especially if you're considering the cage is still canon, although I guess they're retconning it out of canon visually, so it isn't anymore. But it looks good. As I say, it looks good. The collar's a bit weird. But it's interesting how you put these uniforms next to the Discovery, and they look sharper. They look better. I would say not so much the blue one, but the yellow one looks really good, like distinctly better compared than the Discovery uniform when standing next to Discovery uniform people. And so what I don't think it's going to, I really hope he keeps this uniform on for this entire time on the ship, because it does look better, and it shows that bright colour two-tone palette is an improvement over the Discovery one, which is why Starfleet went to it, because this is a uniform they go off of very quickly, and then use that for many years.
Exactly. Well, there is a scene later where he's wearing a Discovery uniform,
which we'll get to. So we see a nice shot of them leaving. The work bees in this sequence. Lovely shot at the top of this source with the Enterprise.
Oh yeah.
A little bit too grey, but good to see a proper high detail top, because we've been missing that for a long time. And another shot of Discovery flying away again. We're seeing some nice shots of the ship for once, and then we get into this cave in spacesuits, new spacesuits, I think, or at least variations of. Any thoughts about the cave? Because they're exploring.
Yeah, I don't have any. It's so dark, you can't really see anything. Yeah. I did notice the spotlight drones. I don't know if they're good or bad. They have phasers pointing at them at one point, and then another scene they're floating down the corridor with them. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of odd. So
I'm assuming that it's an alien colony, and they're scanning them as soon as they get there to help them, and then they make peace with them or something, some such.
Possibly. Yeah.
But again, we know they went massively over budget, and that's part of why the team got fired. The heads got fired, but I mean, you can see the production value. Like, they built this nice, cool set. At least they looks like they did. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. So yeah, it looks good. And then we get, well, we should probably skip the droney stuff until a bit later. There's more clear shots, but there's a bit of a weird thing. Next adventure, Pike at warp, more explodey, the first scene, more Discovery shots, and then back to the pods. So what do you think of these pod things? Because they're pretty prominent. I mean, they're the primary bit of CG space shots in this trailer.
They don't look Federation to me at all. Like, I don't know if they're part of the alien tech that made the drones, the spotlight drones. I don't know. but I don't know. I talked about this in my first reaction trailer. I don't know if they're fighters or if they're from the Enterprise or the Discovery. I don't know. And one gets damaged. Pike gets visually damaged. It's got something shoved in the canopy there. So I don't know what to make of these. I really don't.
Well, we know they're launched from Discovery because there's a shot of them leaving the back of the Discovery. So I'm just guessing there's pod door things.
Well, we're not sure that launch sequence is the pod. I mean, it could be edited differently to be something else. It could be.
I mean, really? Because I mean, she leaves it, and then you see the nacelles.
I know, but you see her launching, and then you see the nacelles, and they get launched out. And I mentioned that as well in my first reaction trailer. But with the way they edit things these days, that shot of the nacelles could be a work bee launching to go to the Enterprise, and they just edited it the way they edited. I don't know.
That's interesting.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Because it looks like it's launched out of a launch tube when she's in it. But where would that be in the Discovery?
Well, we know they launched the things in the end of Season 2 to the Spore planet, so they can assemble these big launch racks in a shuttle bay.
Well, that's true enough, but it seemed like a longer tube than a launch rack to me.
But they don't care about scale.
Wow.
You're giving them too much credit sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it looks like they come out of the impulse engines.
Oh, maybe it comes out the little port and the back of the Enterprise between the impulse engines. Maybe that's a launcher for these new fighters that the Enterprise has. Who knows? I'm just spitballing.
Yeah. I mean, I think the design looks, again, not remotely Star Trek, in that it's very normal, generic sci-fi. You know, hasn't got that Star Trek aesthetic in any kind. I mean, they look cool, but they look like, you know, I relate it back to Star Citizen, which is a very famous game that's going to eventually come out. They've got a lot of great designs, but it's just sort of very highly detailed science fiction. Like, just the generic, this is a science fiction ship. Spacesuit. Hasn't got its own aesthetic, per se, beyond the science fiction aesthetic. So these are very similar. Again, you put them next to anything in Trek, and then through another model from some other universe, you'd say, well, it's probably that one. And again, we like Star Trek-looking Star Trek designs, and they're a bit odd. I'm assuming they're like single-man, quick work bee probe shuttles designed for fast surveying.
Or, hopefully, alien design that they just find and use.
Yeah, and then launch out to escape whatever thing blows up with the alien person on it. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, but they're also wearing different spacey suits. She's wearing a unique style. Again, with deltas.
I think that might be like the undersuit for the EVA suits. Yeah.
But that might be part of it. That suit what comes with the ship, because it's designed to sort of land and do other stuff as well. Maybe, don't know. Then you get a shot of Tilly and Stamets, their only shot, saying, you know, math is cool and high-fiving, showing a bit more levity, which is good. But it's interesting that, you know, obviously they should not use the Spore drive. Doesn't mean they cannot, but they should not. It'd be nice if they didn't even. Funny if they didn't even mention it, like Into Darkness with transport beaming. It's like, oops, that was a mistake. We're just going to ignore it for Season 2. We can do it if we need to, but we're never going to mention it again because that's what happened. Everyone just forgot about it.
Yeah, if they use the Spore drive right away, I'll be pretty disappointed because they kind of said that they're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they do use warp multiple times, which is awesome because we love warp.
Yes. The next shot is really beautiful. The shot of the Enterprise's strut with the work bee approaching it, Discovery in the background. Like I said, these are the shots that I was looking for in Season 1. Just the beauty shots of the ships. Needs more of that. Even with a captain's log, you know, voiceover on them would be fantastic.
Which we had in Episode 1 of Discovery.
Yes. Well, yeah. Brings us back more in line with how Star Trek should feel.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is great because it is very basically lit. Uber basic. But you see the ships, they're clear, they're nice, they look good. And then we see Pike, just before they leave the Enterprise, he's now wearing Discovery uniform for some reason. I was thoroughly disappointed when I saw this, just because don't tease the one bit of TOS, you know, the closest bit of TOS, and then throw it away, the uniforms.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, next shot, we see Spock's uniform. Spock has taken a leave from the ship because he's ran into something that... He couldn't answer, so he's taking a leave. Kind of reminds me of V'ger almost.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
He sensed something, and
yep.
So maybe it's V'ger that we're talking about.
Well, my dad. Wow, that'd be interesting. My dad said, "Oh no," and I was like, "Well, this is not unprecedented. he has shown this character trait of abandoning a really important thing if the thing is he senses it's more important. So I kind of buy that. Although, just to comment on his room, I mean, they're throwing the Vulcan loot thing, but the room's like 7 times the size of the crew quarters in the TOS Enterprise. So it's like, you throw us a bone, but with art design that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the Vulcan... Yeah, the Vulcan Lear's there, the little bell things from his quarters in TOS, and there's a 3D chess set as well, and it's all red. So yes, it's trying to tie it in, but yeah, it's huge. It's roomy. The Enterprise is roomy.
Yeah, and they say he went after the mystery of this red thing. So Spock is directly linked to at least the grander plot of these episodes, because we don't know if this is the season arc. It feels like it might be, but it'll have twists and turns. So my assumption is they're not going to see Spock until, well, near the end. That'll be a big thing, and then plot. But that's interesting. It's a good way of not showing Spock, letting them really wait to cast him and see how the season progresses. And yeah.
See, I'm kind of, in my first reaction trailer review, I was kind of saying I hope that this is only like a 4 or 5 episode arc, and that it's not a season wide arc. That would be the most beneficial for them, I think, because it is called Discovery. It's not called Enterprise or Pike. The new
well, yeah, but I mean, Pike's a better captain than Georgiou was, and than Burnham would be. So and you know, and he'll definitely be more interesting than Lorca in terms of a Starfleet atmosphere.
Do you think Pike takes command of the Enterprise or the Discovery?
Well, that's what they said
this season.
Well,
I know, but like as officially, and he moves on from the Enterprise,
and Kirk takes command of the Enterprise.
Because I'm wondering,
interesting.
I don't think Kirk would be ready for command at this point, though.
But you know what I mean? What if that's like what happened? That's why we don't see Pike. And then maybe Discovery's thing causes his accident. They retcon that out of what they said with the radiation. Or his radiation on the Discovery that killed him to be his thing. I'd buy that. That'd be interesting. Kind of cool.
Well, they're messing with canon.
But
anyway,
no, I agree. Probably like 5. Well, I hope 5 episodes, half of the season, and then the second half will be a different story, which will be a Klingon story, because this has nothing to do with Klingons. But the deeper plot of this bit will then play back into the end of the season. Like the Klingons are also seeing it, and so it's 2 different stories, and at the end it all comes together, and you haven't realised it was going to come together the entire time. Because there's no Klingons in this, oddly enough. Which is, I think, really strong of them, because the feel of the trailer is so much closer to Star Trek than the Season 1 trailer, than Season 1 in general. So well done them for doing that. But as we know, a lot of this stuff, I mean, can change, can lie. You know, if you watch some of the original Star Trek movie trailers, they use clips from the TV shows and the other movies to show stuff that doesn't happen. So, I mean, lying is prevalent in trailers.
It's not lying. It's clever editing in a lot of cases.
It's misleading audience by showing wrong things.
Yes.
So
yes.
You know what I mean.
They know that people like us analyze the crap out of these trailers, so they do it on purpose.
Well, it reminds me of Suicide Squad. They had a version, then they made a trailer that was totally different to the tone of the film. Then they loved that so much they asked that trailer house to re-edit the entire film, because everyone loved that better than, you know what I mean. So sometimes the tone of a trailer can be like, ooh, we really should make this more lighthearted. Oh, everyone loved it. Let's rewrite it more to be like more lighthearted. Good. Make a good show.
And they still have like 6 months before this airs, because it's airing in January, so they got lots of time to rejigger things should they need to. So the next scene is these launch tubes that we've talked about, and they do seem quite long, but you do see the Discovery nacelles on launch. Like I said, I don't know if that's editing, clever editing, or what, but and are those Discoveries nacelles? They almost don't look right, but anyway.
Yeah, it's a weird angle. Although if it isn't, that'd be interesting for some other ship.
It doesn't. Yeah, it almost doesn't look like nacelles, but yeah, I can sort of see at the back. There's the. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's a weird angle for sure.
Yeah,
we'll find out. And then they get onto some sort of base. Maybe it could be the same base where all the destruction is, or not. And
no, because this actress this is the engineer on this ship. It is a ship. I can't remember the name of the ship offhand.
Okay.
So it is. Well, she doesn't mean she's on a ship. She could have been, on a away mission or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway.
Well, they say Eminent Thread is going to a pulsar, and she makes a joke about it. And I feel like I should know. I feel like that I should know who she is. And this is an important casting, as if, oh look, we hired a celebrity, and I'm like, so just a deadpan woman, because she also moderated the panel, and boy was she deadpan, and a bit strange about it. I mean, I hope they don't hang the show on her, but you know, could be fun.
Yeah,
Nice to have some jokes.
I like their line delivery in the trailer. She's going to be an interesting character. One of those just
Weirdos.
Yeah, weirdos. All right, so the next shot is, and then yes, almost like a lab. It's the emergency containment corridor that they're walking down, again with these drones that are side by side with them. So I don't know if they're Federation drones or if they picked them up later, but they're cool little spotlights, which is a great idea actually if you're on an away team to have these positionable drone spotlights. You can do whatever you need to with them. That's a great idea. Here's another shot of Pike in the Discovery uniform.
Looks damn smart, but boy does he blend in with the blues and greys of the set. If he was wearing that yellow, he'd pop like a mofo.
Anyway, maybe his yellow shirt gets damaged, gets
or shrunk in the
Kirsch
wash.
does. Yeah. Shrunk in the replicator. The next shot with the Enterprise out the window, I said, was gorgeous. I love this shot. It reminds me of Trouble with Tribbles, where you see this Enterprise outside the window of K7, only not a model. It's well, it is a model. It's a CG model, and it looks really cool. So I do like this shot.
And it just shows you how well the Enterprise design looks in comparison to things they design, unfortunately. Like, that just looks good. A little bit too stout, though. The neck should have been higher up. That particular angle looks too stout, but still
a little
very
bit,
good.
yeah.
And then Discovery, thank God we're seeing beauties of the ship. Use it,
but
please. Oh.
It's getting damaged in this scene. That piece of asteroid is ripping right through that hull.
The spore
It's going to take out the spore drive spinner.
Hey,
so maybe the ship gets refitted after this to look more TOS because it gets so damaged.
Or just fills in the hole and we say, hey, we're not going to spore drive anymore. Let's change things. Yeah, I would love that. I mean, that'd be great. It's mid-season refit. Sure. Because wouldn't that be cool, though? The first 5 episodes of this mission, unlike Voyager, but like Year of Hell, it gets more and more damaged, more and more broken up. You know, you really get a sense of power, of tension, of destruction. And then they're like, right, that was the end of that arc. Like we saw Enterprise, you know, season 4, they had lots of mini arcs. So at the end of it, it's like, at the end of the 5, right, we're going to go back to Earth. Now we've got the new captain because Pike's left. Whoever the new captain is, maybe it's good Lorca. Reveal, he's here, whatever. Section 31 actually has him. And they're refitting the spore drive out of it because it needs to be more for this other ship. So that'd be cool. Won't do it, but that'd be cool.
Yeah. Would be.
Burnham gets blown out of the transporter room.
Yes.
And there's stretchers in there, and she's wearing the EVA stuff. So I'm guessing it's an emergency beam out, and whatever sort of something happens to blow up things.
And some strange alien device that Tilly and Stamets are looking at. Looks like it could be related to the Mycelium network because of the color, the blue sparkly.
Yeah.
That's the whole crew there, pretty much, by the looks of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, only 130 people, something like that. But they're in the asteroid field. It's still the first scene. It's to do with math because that's what they were talking about earlier. It does look Federation enough because the blinkies and stuff. Like it's got enough human-y things to it, but obviously doing something else like a gravity unit or this or this or this.
There's Burnham running through the containment corridor and it's blowing apart.
Pike looking pretty sexy.
Yeah, and then we get at the end, and yes, the hole hit it, which is cool. And that was probably at the very beginning of the episode once he takes command, and we see the Discovery zip off. That's what that would be. So.
And at the end, we get a long-running joke with a Saurian. They're not drunk in this episode because brandy's, I guess, illegal on Discovery. And I actually thought this was not necessarily funny, but entertaining. You know.
Well, I think it almost took a page out of Orville's playbook as far as the humor goes.
That's what people were saying.
That's fine. And they said that this is going to be more levity in this season, more balance of the dark and the funny, to make it feel more Star Trek. And I'm on board with that.
Isn't it fine? They took the criticism of, we're going to go dark. That was too dark. Okay, we won't go as dark. Yep. Good.
Let's brighten up the uniforms. Let's add some humor. Yay!
Let's make these characters relatable and interesting and people. And characterful. No, this was a fun moment, and this would, you know, I liked everyone's reactions, and like I said, the blue uniform doesn't quite work for me. The colour's too dark. it doesn't look as good. The gold is amazing. The red's a bit too bloody, but it's hard to tell in this episode. No, it isn't. But again, like I said, you put the TOS next to Discovery, and TOS just looks better, looks smarter. I mean, the collar does sort of like change the balance. It kind of makes it worse. If that was a clean collar, he would look even smarter. Or even just like a dress collar, like with you know, 2 bits and like an undershirt. That, whatever. I mean, would you agree? Does it look a bit smarter than Discovery ones?
Absolutely, yes. Except for that damn collar.
Yeah.
The asymmetrical collar really bugs me. But anyway.
So yeah, final thoughts, Stuart, on this trailer. We did the first reactions. We've now time to mull it over. We've now just analysed it for half an hour. What is your general thoughts on the trailer now?
I am excited for season 2. It seems more focused on... Yeah, more focused on Trek and exploration and discovery, more adventure style than war. So I like that a lot. As I said in my first reaction, if this was a reboot of the TOS era, I'd be like, this is fantastic. They're doing everything, almost everything right. It looks great. But considering they're still saying that it's in Prime, I'm kind of like, okay, well, we got to take that for what it is. There are problems with it. But overall, they're making a move, steps in the right direction to make it feel and look more Trek or TOS Trek, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So I'm looking forward to season 2. It should be good, and who knows what's to come.
Yeah, my summary is I'm more excited for season 2 now, and definitely more excited about season 2 than I was about season 1 trailer. But again, if you remove the 2 or 3 TOS elements, it would, or Star Trek in general, it wouldn't be, there's nothing there that resonates Star Trek. You know what I mean? None of the set design, none of the costumes, none of the new pieces, none of it's Trek design. So it does continue to look generic sci-fi. But we are now more accustomed to that, we're expecting that now, and I think they seem to have learned a lot of the lessons, which means it might just be a better show. And you can accept a better sort of Trek show than a not very good sort of Trek show, because you still know it's just sort of Trek. Even though it's legally Trek, it's not necessarily pushing forward the best ideals of Trek, or visually or stylistically. But I'm actually more excited now. You know, the change in focus was so needed, change to characters was so needed, the TOS aesthetic was so needed, just in pieces, just to show it exists other places in the timeline, you know, in this world. So yeah, I mean, good job, but it was a trailer, didn't really give much away, and they could change stuff in editing, as they often do. But yeah, good job overall, and we'll look at it when it comes out, because there'll be a lot to look at, and hopefully there won't be a Tyler Vox situation of saw it coming 7 episodes beforehand. Hopefully. Yeah. Keep guessing till the last moment would be kind of cool.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. Head on over to Facebook and join the discussion over there, because always great discussions on the Trekyards Facebook page, and join Fleetyards as well. And yeah, we'll have a lot more Discovery stuff. Lots was revealed at San Diego Comic-Con. We got lots of quick, short little videos to make, very focused, very specific.
Yes.
So look forward to those. So click subscribe and notify so that you get notified when we upload those.
Yeah, and if you want to support us directly and help us make shows like this, and like all the great shows, and help us to make even more Discovery content when the show comes out, because we need your help to do that, support us on Patreon, a monthly donation service. You give a little bit each and every month, you know, $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, that would be amazing. All goes together, and if enough of you give, it gives us a backbone of support, which we then know we've got to go forward. Or a one-time donation at trekyards.com. A tip, a thank you, whatever, just hey, I've got $15 extra, here you go, and we say brilliant, we'll put that towards something important and help keep the show coming to you for a lot longer.
That's right. So until next time, guys, and more Discovery, I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Commander Hawkins.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.